On the continent of Europe, regular helicopter services between such cities as Brussels, Lille, Luxembourg, Paris, Antwerp, and so on have for long been commonplace. But in Britain, apart from one or two short-lived experiments, regular passenger services by helicopter are unknown. Early in 1958, the Helicopter Association of Great Britain produced a report stressing the necessity for immediate provision of a London heliport, preferably on the bank of the River Thames, and within about 15 minutes of, say, Westminster. In the absence of any official response to this report, Westland Aircraft, who are the largest constructors of helicopters in Europe, decided to take the initiative themselves and to build and operate a temporary heliport on the south bank of the Thames at Battersea. This would provide a fourth and more central air terminus for London: Gatwick, Southend, London Airport, and now the heliport. And the site was in line with the recommendations of the Helicopter Association's report. By road from Hyde Park Corner, 12 minutes. From Westminster, 14 minutes. And by launch from Blackfriars, 20 minutes. Messrs. Lewis and Duvivier, in association with Mr. H.J.B. Harding, were consulting engineers for the project. Consulting architect for the buildings was Mrs. Caroline Aubussier. The main contractors were Messrs. W. and C. French, and speed was of the essence of the contract. Within a matter of weeks, a forest of pre-stressed concrete and steel piles was growing in the Thameside mud. It had been debated whether a floating platform would be preferable to a fixed one. But the big tidal range, the possible obstruction to river traffic, and the difficulty at low tide of towing helicopters onto the land for parking and refueling were decisive objections. Vertical and raking piles were speedily driven by a diesel pile hammer, quicker and more efficient than the conventional gravity pile driver. Concrete for the 21-inch thick reinforced concrete landing platform was mixed in a half cubic yard mixer with power loading of the aggregates. The concrete was taken to the point of placing by automatic monorail truck, used for the first time in Britain. And vibrated into a dense mass. Throughout the winter days and on into the dark winter evenings, the contractors pushed forward the work of constructing the concrete platform, designed to withstand the dynamic load of a heavy helicopter landing with an impact velocity of 10 feet per second. On land, the hard core for the ramp and parking area was compacted with a frog rammer. And by the more conventional roller. The underground tanks, providing storage capacity for 5,000 gallons of gas turbine fuel and 3,000 gallons of petrol, are lowered into position. Now the ramp and parking area are ready for their final surface of asphalt. Meanwhile, the 130-foot-long timber-decked slipway has been constructed for launching the river rescue boat that will stand by during all landings and takeoffs. Only 2 weeks before the date fixed for the opening of the heliport, and only 8 months from the beginning of its construction, the prefabricated sections of the control tower and passenger reception buildings arrive on the site. The helicopter landing sign is painted on the landing platform, while the control tower receives its final touches. A test of the firefighting equipment, to be used, if ever necessary, in addition to the portable foam-producing extinguishers that must be at hand during engine starting and refueling. All is now nearly ready. The anemometer is put in position on the control tower. An inspection is made of the inflatable river rescue boat capable of carrying 10 persons and fitted with an 18-horsepower engine. A practice landing is made on what will be, with the prevailing southwest wind, the standard approach route, upriver from the Battersea Railway Bridge. Finishing touches are put to the interior of the passenger reception building and waiting room. It is the day before the opening ceremony. At 3 p.m. on April the 23rd, 1959, Mr. John Hay, MP, Joint Parliamentary Secretary to the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation, arrives by river launch from Westminster to perform the opening ceremony. At the landing platform, he is greeted by Mr. Eric Mensforth, CBE, Chairman of Westland Aircraft, and by His Worship, the Mayor of Battersea. Congratulations to Westland Aircraft on their initiative and enterprise. And then, a quick snip of the scissors, and London's first heliport is open for commercial traffic. Westland Aircraft Limited have provided this heliport at a cost of £60,000 on a site leased for 7 years, not because they are themselves interested in the provision or operation of heliports, or indeed in the operation, as contrasted with the production, of helicopters, but because it is only by the provision and operation of an experimental heliport, such as this, that experience can be gained in solving the many problems that arise in the provision of permanent heliports for London and for other cities in Great Britain. As always, Westland Aircraft have given a lead.